New research has suggested that religion or having a faith could actually make you healthier. Apparently, the religious are less likely to fall ill, less likely to smoke or drink alcohol, and there are apparent benefits. Well, to debate whether this could be true or not, it's a pleasure to welcome Pastor Nick Park, is Executive Director at the Evangelical Alliance, and Michael Nugent is Chair of Atheists Ireland. You're both most welcome to the studio. The background to this is that the Office for National Statistics quizzed about 100,000 people in England and Wales about the role of religion between 2016 right up to 2018. So it wasn't just Christians, Jews, Hindus, Sikhs, Muslims were all asked questions, and then about their religion and then about their health. And it does seem that there are favourable conclusions. Nick, if I could start with you, do you think there's merit in this research?
I think there's some merit in it. I mean, there's been a lot of studies on this done over the years, something like 2,000 studies done in the last 20 years. And part of the issue is this, that it's not, when you try and carry this research over from country to country, it doesn't apply everywhere. For example, in countries where religious people might face persecution, it doesn't apply there. You know, being religious can be bad for your health.
Yes.
In certain parts of South Korea right now, being religious has not proved to be good for some people's health at all. Also, in countries where one religion is dominant, these kind of figures don't hold true. But it does seem to be that in countries where there's a religious diversity and people have a choice which religion they follow and whether to follow it or not, that there are health benefits. But I would say they're probably sociological rather than spiritual reasons.
Well, you see, I think there might be something to it, because I meet a lot of elderly people, and if you stand outside a church on a Sunday and see the people coming out, there's a lot of elderly people. And, you know, no matter how sick they are, I must get to Mass or I must get to service on Sunday. And it means something very special to them, that they actually strive for the whole week to get to this point, and this time during Lent and so on, that they would be more active in participating in church services. My point is that the consolation that they get, doesn't matter if you disagree with them, doesn't matter if they're wrong, the fact is, in their head and in their mind, they're getting a type of consolation which could only have a kind of positive effect on your health within their own head.
Well, we all know people that sort of, people who we think are about to die, and they seem to last until Christmas and then rapidly die in the new year, and it's almost like willpower was keeping them going. But I think one of the key things here, Ivan, is that it's not so much what your religious belief is, but it's about religious practice. And a lot of research shows that the health benefits come from people that actually belong to a religious community. Because we live in an age when a lot of people miss out on being part of a community. And whether you like religion or loathe it, a strong component is being part of a community. And that meets basic human needs in many different ways and provides a support network as well.
All right, I can guess that the chair of Atheists Ireland, Michael Nugent, you think this is all poppycock?
Well, I think the articles about that report don't actually reflect what's in the report. It doesn't say that being religious keeps you healthier. There were a couple of questions. First was your self-reported state of physical health, which everybody was about the same, was about the 50% mark, whether you're religious or not. Secondly, your self-reported state of mental health, about the same. The statistic that is being cited is that whether you're satisfied with your health. And on that, again, it's pretty much the same for Christians, Muslims and no religion. 68%, 66%, 64%, so not much difference. And on the only question in the report that was actually an objective measure of health, which is, do you have a long-standing illness or disability of 12 months or more? Again, it was pretty much about the same, but people of no religion had slightly less long-standing illnesses than Christians or Buddhists. So it's pretty much the same, and the report has been kind of misinterpreted. But there is a lot of research, and what Nick says here is quite accurate. There's a lot of research done in the last decade or so by positive psychologists, which is a field of psychology that has moved beyond saying, look, psychology has been great at understanding neurosis and psychosis and, the bad parts of living. Now let's put the same amount of objective research into resilience and strength and hope and optimism and positive emotions. And what they found is that there are two things that are beneficial to health that religion does help with. One is a sense of meaning and purpose. And the second is a sense of community or involvement in activities that you can get absorbed in for their own sake rather than for external reasons. But the key distinction about those that they found is that atheists who have a strong sense of meaning and purpose and who are involved in community have exactly the same benefits. So the benefits don't come from what it is you believe. It comes from having a sense of meaning and purpose and being involved in activities like that.
But what about this piece of research from Ohio? State psychology researchers have found that out of 1,096 obituaries from 42 major cities in the US between 2010 to 2011, found that those who had religion lived 4 years longer.
Yeah, and even that report itself, if you see, there's a grave danger of just taking newspaper summaries of reports. I always tend to go to the report itself. And if you go to that report, they themselves make a lot of qualifications on it. They point out that this is only dealing with people, almost by definition, the long-lived people who have obituaries, who they were born before 1950, most of them, when being an atheist was very much made you an outsider, and being an outsider is a difficulty in society. It only deals with people who have had obituaries written about them, which is quite a small proportion of the people that live in any given society. And there are biases in obituaries where people are trying to write things nice about the people that they're writing obituaries about. So I wouldn't put too much emphasis on that particular. There's another thing they found which ties in with the point I'm making about being an outsider, that even within that survey, that the effect of religion being an advantage was greater in cities where most people were religious, and less in other cities. So it comes down to the things that Nick was talking about a sense of community, and if you feel part of your local community, you're more likely to be healthy than not.
Okay, so is that the point of agreement, Nick Park, that if you're actively involved in something, and it could be the old folks group, it could be the bridge club, it could be whatever, irrespective of religious belief or otherwise, you then have enhanced longevity and enhanced life quality.
Well, I think that's certainly a part of it. Now, there are other things that you've already alluded to, the fact of if religious people are less likely, for example, to smoke or to drink even to excess.
Yeah.
I mean, I myself, before I had a religious conversion, I was a chronic alcoholic. So obviously, straight away for me, becoming religious brought a whole host of health benefits. So, so that's got to be part of it. And it's also been demonstrated, there's research that indicates that certain religious practices, such as prayer, for example, produces a sense of well-being, which reduces blood pressure. Now, that's not to say that you can't reduce your blood pressure by obtaining good mental well-being by other methods, but it's certainly one that a lot of religious people find does provide an actual physical benefit, because our minds and our bodies are interrelated.
You see, the spiritual side, Michael Nugent, this is what I meant by consolation and satisfaction and so on. Like, a lot of people maybe are on their knees praying, this diagnosis of oncology that I've got, I'd like it to be cured, and others, the power of hope.
Well, there's been experiments done on the power of prayer. There's been a particular multi-million-dollar, multi-year experiment done where people who were recovering from open-heart surgery, some of them were prayed for, some of them weren't, some of them knew they were being prayed for, some of them didn't. And what it showed is, unsurprisingly, whether you were prayed for or not made no difference. But if you knew you were being prayed for, you actually had more complications in recovery, and the people who
if you knew others were praying for you.
Yes,
how could that be?
Well, I
could understand how it would be the same, but I couldn't understand how it would be deleterious to you.
It is unusual, and what the speculation from the people who did the experiment is that people might have felt psychologically under more pressure if they felt that people were praying for them, that they felt that their illness was more critical than they would have felt otherwise.
All right, final word to you, Nick. Are you into Lent?
Not particularly, no. Looking forward to Easter, but the tradition that I follow, we don't celebrate Lent with all the fasting and everything else.
Yeah.
We do see that as something that we practice periodically throughout the year, but not just for these particular days.
Yeah. And okay, do text me, 53106. Do you think having a faith, it could be Muslim, Hindu, Christian, whatever, does have a positive impact on your health? Does it mean you're less likely to smoke or drink? Do you buy into this? Certainly not buying into it, Michael Nugent. Certainly not buying into the power of prayer. Chair of Atheists Ireland, and Nick Park, Executive Director of Evangelical Alliance, saying the benefits he's found in his own life from turning to God. Thank you both for being our guests. No doubt we will return to this again.